I never wanted to be a celebrity. I wanted to be a musician, and I wanted to make music that was worldwide. I like things that are a little twisted. It was a roller coaster for me, emotionally. Bit of badass. People really don't know who I am. A bit of lady.
Rihanna,
Hello.
thanks for being on the record with Fuse.
My pleasure. Finally able to do this.
I know. So, how are you? Are you happy?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm really excited.
Tell me about the evolution of Rihanna, because you start off with Music of the Sun, and then it's A Girl Like Me, and then it's Good Girl Gone Bad, and now it's Rated R. Like, kind of like, where can you go after Rated R?
Every album for me has been a natural step in my growth. It has displayed the different steps in my career, and every one happens to be better than the previous one. And for me, that's the most important thing. Just making sure that every time you do something, you do it better than you did it before. And those, when I listen to my music or watch my videos, for instance, from Pon de Replay to Russian Roulette, it's not even the same person. It's not even the same person, but
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who has been the same person at 17 that they were at 21.
I've talked to L.A. Reid about this album. He's executive producing this. And he said he's giving you hit records. And you knew their hits, and he knew their hits. And you said, nope, that's not my vision. So clearly, you had a lot to say in what's happening with this album.
Yeah, because I guess the last album, it really worked. But I didn't want to repeat myself. I didn't think that was true artistry. And I paid attention to it a lot more musically and lyrically, because I did help pen most of the songs, and I just didn't want a hit. Anybody can make a hit, but I wanted a real album with true music, real deep lyrics, clever lyrics, and they are hits too. So we wanted to make great songs, but with great meaning.
So why do an album now? Why not take 6 months, or, you know, you got the money, you got the time, everybody would wait for you, you know, it's not like your spot's going anywhere, all your fans still love you. Why not take 6 months, 9 months and hang out?
Well, that was the original plan. I knew that after the Grammys is when I would have taken a little bit of time, but I drove myself crazy for the few weeks I had off before I got back in the studio. That's what made me get back in the studio, because I felt like such a delinquent. I'm like, I'm going crazy in here, guys. I got cabin fever. I just stayed in the house because I didn't really want to hang out around people. And then I just got out. I just started working again, because I called Jay Brown and L.A. Reid. I said, I'm ready. I am ready. I'm going crazy. I need to get in the studio. And we did just that right away. Right away.
And it just made you feel better.
Yeah, it was my place of peace. Of course, you know how crazy it was out there. Like, it was just a chaotic media circus, and the only place that was peaceful for me was the studio. It was just 4 walls of protection and something that was positive and something that I love to do, and it was therapeutic. I got to vent there. I just felt like no one was judging me, no one was staring, no one was feeling sorry for me. It was just all about music.
Do you think it's fair to say that Rated R is an angry album?
No. It's a display of so many different emotions and moods, because it was a roller coaster for me, emotionally. And it's documented on it, because as I said, every day I went in the studio, I didn't feel the same. Some days I was angry, some days I was sad, some days I felt like talking about sex, some days I just felt like being cocky, and so they're different moods. So I would never say it's an angry album. There's definitely some angry songs, some songs that, you know, a feeling of wanting to have revenge. There are those songs there.
Tell me about Russian Roulette, 'cause it's a very intense song. You know, it's a very emotional song.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, your heart is beating hard as you listen to it because the girl in the song is actually playing Russian roulette, right? And it's her turn to go, and she's nervous, but she's like, I'm going to face down my fear. I'm going to do it.
Yes. Russian roulette, when you think about the game, it's a very terrifying game, and potentially you can get hurt in the end. And it's a lot like the game of love, because that's when feelings are involved. And that's what the song is really about. It's not about literally playing Russian roulette.
But you've introduced this crazy game to a lot of kids who perhaps weren't aware of it before. You think about the impact on them suddenly discovering this game through you?
This time around, I wasn't so concerned about a demographic or what people thought. I was in a very, very deep place, and I had a lot to say. And Russian roulette is a part of that expression. It's not about the game at all, which is, I wish people would get that. It's poetry.
Yeah. Photographs was the last song you made. And you said you went to will.i.am's house and he played it for you, and it was a Black Eyed Peas song. And you said, no, I'm taking that song. And now, how do you go to will.i.am's house and take a song away from the Black Eyed Peas?
He didn't really want to play it at first because he was like, okay, Rihanna's here now. Y'all come to Strong Army. We were like, we just want to hear it. But when I heard it, the story is so real, and I was like, this is my story. What are you guys doing this song? This is not The Energy Never Dies. This is some deep shit, and everybody knows that feeling of, you know, after a breakup, you know, you just feel empty, like, what? I just spent the last how many years in this relationship building this foundation, and all I have left to show for it is some photographs of memories. And it was so personal, and I felt it right here, and I wasn't leaving the studio without it.
One of my favorite lines on the album is on Wait Your Turn. You say, I'm such a fucking lady. And you very much are a lady. So explain what that meant to you.
Well, everything goes back to that line, which is funny you picked that out because that's my favorite line too. I actually wanted to name my album Such a Fucking Lady. A couple stores, a couple major outlets didn't allow that. But
was that really the first title?
Yeah, that was the title for a while. But Rated R made more sense because the overall story, it's a movie, really, the album. But Such a Fucking Lady, we take everything back to that, especially in our style. It's that playing with the tough, but not too tough, and being a lady, but not too girly, because that's not me. I kind of play on both. I like things that are a little twisted, a bit of badass and a bit of lady.
Do you think that your image has changed this year?
I've been away for a few months, probably like 8 months or so, and people didn't hear anything from me because I didn't talk. All they saw was me getting out of my hotel, into the car, out of the car. They didn't know where I was going or who I was going with or what I was doing, and neither did they know my growth. They just, all of a sudden, they saw from the Clive Davis party to now.
Yeah.
And the album definitely lets you in on what I thought about for those 8 months. What was going through my mind, what made me come to this place right now. And for me, my image has definitely changed, absolutely, because, again, I grew up. I was forced to. My story has been pretty exposed and naked out there. So I spoke about my situation so that women can learn from it. And now I'm in a different place, and I just want them to learn from my experience.
How early did this dream of being a singer start?
Very young. I had to be like 6 years old. I always loved music. I always loved it. And then I would start singing along, and before you knew it, I wanted to be that person so bad that I would lip sing or dance or look in the mirror or perform for my friends or cousins. And I just always knew. I just always knew one day that I'm gonna be doing this. I knew.
Well, who are the singers you idolized and tried to follow and pattern yourself?
Well, I used to listen to like all the divas, like Mariah Carey for sure was one of my favorites. Always. Whitney Houston. I love Celine Dion. Loved Shania Twain. I used to listen to those four for sure, religiously. And now they're my peers, which is so crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You've talked about Bob Marley as an influence too. What is the musical influence on you from Marley?
Being from Barbados, Bob Marley is like our king.
Yeah.
And every artist from the Caribbean, they see Bob Marley and they're like, if he made it from a small island to be this worldwide legend, we can do it too. And that's why he was such a big inspiration, a motivation for me.
You've talked about nobody gets off the island, but you did. So why were you able to do that?
Well, I was presented with a very, very great opportunity. Evan Rogers and Carl Sturken, they're two producers. They discovered me. I met with them, auditioned, and started recording a demo. A year later, we finally finished it and sent it out to a few labels. And luckily, we got some calls back.
So, big moment in the ascent of Rihanna when you audition for Jay-Z. Describe that story for me.
So scary. So scary. All I remember saying is, oh my gosh, I'm about to not only meet Jay-Z, because that was a big thing. Then I have the audition of my life, and it's with Jay-Z. So it was double pressure, and I literally was shaking. No lie, I sat there in the lobby waiting, and I was shaking. And when I saw him, all I remember is I sat back, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming.
But you still were able to sing in a way that knocked his socks off, right?
Well, I had to put my game face on. It was do or die at that moment. I could not mess up that opportunity. I would have been a fool.
What did you sing?
I sang this song called The Last Time from my first album, as well as Pun de Replay. And they heard the demo, so they kind of knew, but they wanted to see me in person and hear me live. And after I performed for them, it was just a matter of us coming to an agreement.
How soon after you stopping singing did you get a deal?
12 hours?
And 12 hours later, your manager called you or told?
No, 12 hours later we signed. We didn't really leave. We stayed in the building.
You didn't leave the building?
Right. It was pretty much that day. It was literally 12 hours later.
And Jay told
It was
you
3 a.m.
And they told you can't leave? You're like, I'm tired, I want to go back to the hotel. Don't worry, I'll sign
Because
with
they
you.
didn't want us to go audition for other labels.
So they
That's what the fear really was.
semi-kidnapped you for 12 hours. That's
It was worth it, though.
Yeah.
It was so worth it.
So let's talk about Umbrella. It's your biggest hit. What about Umbrella struck such a chord to make it become this monster hit?
I think Umbrella to me is one of the most magical records, and anyone could have done it and it would have been massive, because it's a very infectious song. Like, you don't ever get tired of it. Even performing it now, for me, I'd never get tired of it.
Two songs not of yours that I love, that you kind of took over, Run This Town and Live Your Life. These are hip hop songs, but you come in, you kind of take over the record and overshadow the rappers. Is there something about doing a track with these MCs that brings out an extra energy in you?
If you notice, I don't really do a lot of collaborations. And Live Your Life and Run This Town, they're two songs that you can't say no to. And they're also artists that you want to work with. Jay-Z and T.I., they're very credible rappers, so I didn't have a problem doing it for them. And also I loved the songs, and they became hits, which I was also very, very happy about.
Yeah.
I was very grateful to be a part of those records too.
What has been Jay's best advice to you?
In the beginning of my career, I remember Pun de Replay started doing really well, and he came up to me at a showcase and he said, "You must be a really great person because great things keep happening for you." don't ever change who you are. Always remain humble, the same, and it kind of rings in my ear. Like every day I hear that, and it stuck with me, and I have a lot to be grateful for.
You said you've built an empire. How do you define empire?
Well, I built a brand. The brand is Rihanna, and there are a lot of things that come with that. It's a lot of work that went into this brand, and that's why I say I built an empire, because it was from the ground up. You know, we started from scratch, and everything we did thus far has had a lot of influence from me.
What does Rihanna, the brand, stand for?
Naughty, naughty. Just kidding. I'm a musician. I'm a very creative person. I love music. I love fashion. I'm very edgy. I'm always a little to the left. Never safe, because it's just not me. It's never who I am. And everything I do, it reflects that. Whether it be what I wear, an interview, a photo shoot, nothing is safe, because that's just not Rihanna.
You're taking acting classes now? Tell me something.
Yeah, on and off. I want to do movies, so that's why I'm getting into acting classes. But right now, I have a very demanding schedule when it comes to music, so that's not really going to happen right now.
Right. But in the future, more movies.
I want to do movies for sure.
You are gorgeous.
Thank you. Did you have that in your little notes?
Yes.
That's sweet.
But I mean, the first time I met you, I was like, wow, like it's a whole other level, face to face.
Thank you.
But do you look in the mirror, no ego, but look in the mirror and be like, wow, I kind of got lucky with the way the bone structure.
Every day I look in the mirror and say, damn, I'm cute. No. Usually I'm like, oh, great, now I have a fucking pimple.
But when you don't have a pimple, are you like kind of lucky to?
No. Every day there's something that's not good enough. You never look in the mirror and say, yes, I'm perfect today. It's always like, okay, I don't have a pimple, but my gut looks huge. Awesome. You always find a flaw. That's what the mirror is there for. It's very bad.
When you were in Barbados, you wanted to be a celebrity. That's what you've been dreaming about for all this time. But there's a downside to that. What is the downside to all that?
Well, the downside is there's no private life. There's no privacy. You can't imagine what that has to feel like. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, you can't step out of your hotel room without the paparazzi being parked out there. They're parked outside of your house. There's no moment of, okay, now I'm finished work, I can close the door. No, there's none of that. And that's a downside. It's a big downside. But also, if that's what I have to deal with to do what I love, I'll take it, because the upside is I get to do what I love. And I get to travel to all these amazing countries and cities and meet amazing people and just reach out to my fans all over the world. I can deal with the paparazzi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're
wonderful.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.